6 o'clock p.m. I call this regular meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McCord, the roll call, please.
Mr. Posey.
Present.
Mr. Berry.
Here.
Mr. Culp.
Here.
Chief Nielsen, you have the reading of casualties.
Yes, I do. Police Officer Ray Barrentes with the Chowchilla Police Department in California with an end of watch of October 3rd. Police Officer Henry Franklin with the Sykeston Department of Public Safety, Missouri with an end of watch October 6th. Sheriff's Deputy Charles Riley with the Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office, Louisiana, with an end of watch October 6th. Trooper Nicholas Caton with the Ohio State Highway Patrol, end of watch October 16th. Sheriff's Deputy Joshua Brashears with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Mississippi, with an end of watch October 17th. Police Officer Lauren Craven with the La Mesa Police Department in California, with an end of watch October 20th. Sergeant Thomas Duran with the El Reno Police Department, Oklahoma, with an end of watch October 24th. Sheriff's Deputy Andrew Nunez with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office, California, with an end of watch October 27th. And Police Officer David Cahuso with the Miami Beach Police in Florida, with an end of watch October 28th.
Please join me in a moment of silence for these fallen first responders. Thank you. We're excited to recognize one guest today. Former trustee John Morris is back in the building and in the room. Thank you, John, for being here. Thank you for your service to the township. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Matters on the listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be acted by one motion and one vote of consent. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. I move we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Berry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Moving on to new business. The first resolution is 92-2025, a resolution to appoint a representative to the Hillgrove Union Cemetery Board of Trustees. Mr. Schweikert.
Yes, good evening, Board. This is more of a housekeeping item as the citizen representative to the Hillgrove Union Cemetery Board. The term is up, and this is Eric Flasher has expressed interest to serve yet another term in this position ending May 31st, 2028, and I'm happy to take any questions regarding this resolution.
Any questions? You have Resolution 93-2025, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to execute a rental service agreement with Cintas.
Yes, Board. This is, again, another housekeeping item. Several years ago, we renewed an agreement for 3 years with Cintas to perform rental services that include weekly pickup, cleaning and delivery of floor mats, shop towels, uniforms, and we did investigate other vendors that could perform this service, but we found the pricing structure offered through Cintas was more advantageous. Also note, in our review of Cintas, we found out that we have been working together in this business relationship for over 40 years, so that was pretty cool. But happy to answer any questions regarding this resolution on this agreement.
Any questions? You have Resolution 94-2025, a resolution to create a CDL trainer incentive program.
Yes, Board. In 2022, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration created some different standards on how to obtain a Class A CDL just in general, but our department requires employees to have a Class C CDL, and in order to not restrict us in our talent pool when finding new employees, we have found a curriculum to where we can offer an in-house program. In the packet, I outlined other agencies and how they operate, but doing an in-house program creates can exceed savings of $10,000 per employee. So We found that creating an incentive program for the trainer to be a small contribution for the savings that happen to Miami Township. And I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this resolution.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schweikert. Mr. McCord, you have Resolution 95-2025, a resolution to approve amended appropriations of funds for 2025.
Yes, good evening, Board. Resolution 95, it contains three components, various appropriation adjustments based on different projects going on within the township. The first would require additional funding coming out of the Kingsridge TIF Fund 253 for security camera enhancements here at the township campus here on Lyons Road, which is within that tax increment financing district. The second part is an extension of the paving work done by the Public Works Department or through the Public Works Department this past year regarding the improvements to the parking areas at Waldrew, and we're leveraging TIF funds from the Austin East Tax Increment Financing District, which is adjacent to the park. And the third part is just to some additional maintenance costs to the fleet that were not anticipated in the original 2025 appropriation amendment. And with that, there is more detail provided by the Public Works Director regarding the paving and the equipment needs. Sorry, brain fart. But happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. At this time, I make a motion to amend the agenda to include Resolution 97-2025, entitled A Resolution Appointing a Deputy Fiscal Officer. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Berry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Snyder, would you like to discuss the necessity of this resolution?
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Resolution 97-2025 is the result of action taken recently by the Montgomery County Common Pleas Court at the request of the Ohio Attorney General. The court has suspended Fiscal Officer Robert Matthews. Due to that action, the township is required by statute to appoint a deputy fiscal officer. So the Township Board has discussed this action in executive session, and I believe this resolution is being presented to allow the board an opportunity to make that appointment at this time. So,
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Any questions of Mr. Snyder regarding this resolution? Moving on, public comment portion of the meeting. Anybody wishing to come forward?
Make sure we start with time.
John Morris, 7392 Alderon Avenue, Miami Township, 45459, for those keeping score at home. I just wanted to come in and thank the trustees and the staff for maintaining and working diligently to keep the township moving forward, given the turmoil that Mr. Matthews had brought upon the negative publicity. We're seeing outstanding things coming through economic development, investments in our parks, continued upkeep on our roads and maintenance, all showing the great leadership that you all have put forward. I sincerely hope that the voters within the township come out tomorrow and express support for Mr. Posey and Mr. Drewberry running for office, and do not support bringing Robert Matthews back in as a trustee. I had fears of what Mr. Matthews had intended to do. If you rewind the tape and go back to his first meeting, he expressed plans to do a number of things in his term, and I shared with him at that time that those things were things that trustees do, not fiscal officers. And he proceeded to do things that, or tried to do things, and thankfully, Mr. McCord caught his actions, saving the township hundreds of thousands of dollars in trying to recover the inappropriate transaction that would have occurred. So again, thanks to everyone. Thank you for your ongoing leadership. Special thanks to Doug Berry for stepping in and filling out my term when my time in California was extended. I'm very glad that that time has ended, and I have moved back to the township, and I'm just here to express my willingness to volunteer in any capacity the township needs. I'm here to serve. Thank you all for your leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Moving on to consideration of resolutions and motions. I move we adopt Resolution 92-2025, a resolution to appoint a representative to the Hillgrove Union Cemetery Board of Trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I move we adopt Resolution 93-2025, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to execute a rental service agreement with Cintas. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I make a motion we adopt Resolution 94-2025, a resolution to create a CDL Trainer Incentive Program. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I make a motion we adopt Resolution 95-2025, a resolution to approve amended appropriations of funds for 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I make a motion we read Resolution 97-2025, a resolution appointing a deputy fiscal officer in full. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Resolution 97-2025, a resolution appointing a deputy fiscal officer. Whereas Ohio Revised Code Section 507.02 requires a Board of Trustees to appoint a deputy fiscal officer in the event the township fiscal officer is suspended via court order under Ohio Revised Code Section 507.13. Whereas Ohio Revised Code Section 507.02 further requires a Board of Trustees to set the compensation of the deputy fiscal officer, and that the combined compensation of the deputy fiscal officer and the fiscal officer cannot exceed the amount set forth in Ohio Revised Code Section 507.09. Whereas on October 27, 2025, the township's fiscal officer, Robert Matthews, was temporarily suspended via court order pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 507.13 in the in-re removal of Miami Township fiscal officer Robert Matthews, Montgomery County Common Pleas case number 2025 CV 5367, the quote removal case. Whereas the Board of Township Trustees of Miami Township desires to appoint Greg Klingerman to the position of Deputy Fiscal Officer pending a final decision in the removal case, and whereas the Board of Township Trustees of Miami Township further desires to set the compensation of the Deputy Fiscal Officer. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Township Trustees of Miami Township, Montgomery County, Section 1, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 507.02, the Miami Township Board of Trustees hereby temporarily appoints Greg Klingerman to serve as the Deputy Fiscal Officer for Miami Township. Section 2, this appointment is intended only to temporarily appoint a Deputy Fiscal Officer to perform the duties of the Fiscal Officer and is intended to be in accordance with the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas October 27, 2025 order in the removal case. Section 3, for as long as Robert Matthews remains suspended pursuant to the removal case, Robert Matthews' salary as fiscal officer shall be reassigned to the deputy fiscal officer. Section 4, the appointment of Greg Klingerman to the position of deputy fiscal officer shall be subject to all legal requirements of the Ohio Revised Code for such appointments. Section 5, this resolution shall take effect at the earliest date permitted by law. Is there any discussion? The roll, please, Mr. McCourt.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
That concludes the consideration of resolutions and motions. We do have a public hearing. I make a motion, we open the public hearing for zoning case 43919. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Zoning case number 43919 is now open. The following will be the order in which this hearing will proceed. Staff will give a report, the applicant will give a presentation, all proponents will speak, all opponents will speak. A time limit of 5 minutes will be placed on each of the speakers. When speaking, please give your name and address for the record. The board will then review and record the findings of fact requirements for this case. The board will then close the public hearing and make a final determination on the findings of fact. The board will then make a resolution concerning this, motion on the resolution concerning this case. The board will now hear the report of staff. Mr. Carlson, have the legal requirements for this hearing been met?
They have.
Would you please review your report at this time?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Board. Rezoning case 439-19, case in front of you tonight, a Requests to rezone just a little under 2 acres from a current PD2 planned office district into an existing planned mixed-use development district. This is at the corner of Mad River and State Route 725, and specifically to rezone 2 parcels into an existing planned development. Zoning Commission heard this case at their last public hearing and in a 3-0 vote recommended approval. Here's a look at the 2 parcels in question, bolded sort of in red. If you remember in 2019, Sleep Number came forward. There was a previous office building there. They requested demolition of the building to allow for their Sleep Number use. So it was previously a O1 office district where these 2 buildings, well, this building and 2 parcels are in a PD2. The corner is sort of a mess of zoning parcels, so even going back at the time in 2019, staff had approached the previous owner of the office building that's the subject case tonight to say, do you have interest in coming forward with Sleep Number? All your parcels would be in a single plan development. Any future development then would be a little bit cleaner, more consistent. At the time, they were not quite ready to do that. They had several tenants that were going to cause some issues, but now the applicant has come forward and stated, yes, we would like to join that plan development. It opens up from very, very strict office uses to some more additional retail, commercial type uses we'll take a look at in a moment. Again, several reasons here that, at the time we thought that this made sense. Zoning consistency, allow additional uses beyond the office land use. This is a major corner in our jurisdiction. Makes sense to open up for commercial land use. And 3, to tie all the access points together in one development. Currently, there's an access easement that Sleep Number has to get access points to the 2 drives. It's kind of messy, but pulling this all together would allow any future development to be reviewed sort of as a whole unit. And then finally, to update our design standards, our office district has very little in the way of design standards, so any new development has to meet all of our current standards for lighting, landscaping, architecture, so on and so forth. Here's a quick look at the permitted uses. Again, it's more consistent with our neighborhood business district. You have certain types of retail shops, but nothing like full-service restaurants or drive-throughs or anything else. We've talked with the applicant. This is something they may look at in the future, but would likely require some more strict review from ODOT. The drives are in sort of odd spaces relative to that corner, and given the signal and intersection there, probably some additional treatments would need to happen to allow that land use. In all cases, for rezoning, we review our findings of fact. Before we get into that quickly, going back to this building, currently they are marketing the building. They do not have an end user. The hope is to open up their marketing with this new zoning district to come court a new user. So I'll show in the slide here in a minute. Theoretically, the office use could continue as is. They have a couple tenants who are kind of lingering, hanging on, but they foresee a likely demolition of this building and future redevelopment. So at that time, they'd come forward for a full final development plan, but this rezoning is just putting the broader district in place and allowing them to market and court a tenant who would better fit the corner. Taking a quick look at the findings of fact, the first being the site will be accessible from public roads, adequate to carry the traffic. Again, this was something that, talking with ODOT at the time, it was their preference to pull this property into the zoning district for more thorough review. Second piece of A being pedestrian accessibility and connectivity. The sidewalk that is out there is as a result of the Sleep Number development. Any future tenant would be required to expand that along their property lines, furthering some of our goals for pedestrian accessibility. 3104B, proposed development standards adequately address issues related to compatibility with adjacent uses, environmental design compatibility, in a manner that improves upon what would be achieved under non-PD. Again, the office district has very little standards, and we have very little capacity to review any development. This plan development certainly gives us the ability to review and recommend improvements to their design. 3104C, development is intended to produce superior design and construction what would be normally occur. Again, definitely improving upon. It will not cause an undue burden on public services and facilities, including fire and police protection. This application was shared with fire and police We did not receive any comments that this would cause undue burden. 3104, proposals in accordance with goals and policies of the comp plan. This is true. This is coming closer into compliance with the comprehensive plan, which recommends commercial land use, either commercial corridor or neighborhood business land use. 3104E is describing the proximity of any new structures relative to residential buildings. We're looking at 50 feet, 100 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet. The nearest residential structure is about 400 feet away, so we meet all these marks with plenty of extra space. So again, zoning commission recommended in a 3-0 vote approval with no stipulations. The next steps for the applicant, they could continue marketing the site with the new permitted uses. The current structure could be used with the current land uses, although anything beyond sort of the typical office structure would be very limited in how they could do that. And then finally, they've stated that demolition is very likely, and any changes to the site or structure will require them coming in for a final development plan, which would trigger additional reviews by our office and by county engineer and ODOT and all of our other partners. The applicant had a last-minute conflict come up. They stated they couldn't be here with us tonight. They fully understand if there are questions that staff cannot answer, that a continuation would make sense, so the board would have a chance to speak with them. But I certainly feel that this was something that staff had pursued to try to make happen earlier. So we're very happy that they came in to meet with us ahead of this application and asked, what do you guys think should happen here? And we pushed them in this direction. So we appreciate them working with us to rethink this corner.
Any questions for Mr. Carlson? Thank you, Mr. Carlson.
Thank you.
Seeing as the applicant is absent, the board will now hear from all proponents. Seeing none, the board will now hear from all opponents. Seeing none, at this time, the Board of Trustees is required under Article 31, Section 3104 of the Miami Township zoning resolution to make specific findings of fact based upon the particular evidence presented at this hearing. The recording secretary shall now read each standard and call the roll to determine the finding of each trustee on the following standards.
I told Mr. McCord that since I had them pulled up, I'll read them and he will call the vote. So Section 3104A, the site will be accessible from public roads that are adequate to carry the traffic that will be imposed upon them by the proposed development, or the proposed development standards where only the proposed uses and development standards are to be adopted, and provides for pedestrian accessibility and connectivity throughout their design.
Trustee Posey.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Culp.
Yes.
Section 3104B, the proposed development and or development standards adequately address issues related to compatibility with adjacent uses, environmental issues, and overall design compatibility, including lighting and landscaping, and do so in a manner that improves upon what would be achieved under the non-PD zoning standards.
Trustee Posey.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Culp.
Yes.
Section 3104C, the proposed development and or development standards are intended to produce a superior design and construction than what would normally occur under the non-PD zoning standards, and will not cause an undue burden on public services and facilities, including but not limited to fire and police protection.
Trustee Posey.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Culp.
Yes.
Section 3104D, the proposal is in accordance with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan.
Trustee Posey.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Culp.
Yes.
Section 3104E, if the project is proposed to contain non-residential uses, the conditions imposed mitigate any potential significant impacts associated with the proposal, including maintaining a minimum 50-foot distance from a retail, office, or other non-industrial business structure, or 100 feet distance from a manufacturing structure to a residential building outside of the planned development district, with a minimum 30-foot property line setback for retail, office, or other non-industrial use, and a 50-foot property line setback for manufacturing use along any property line adjacent to residentially zoned property.
Trustee Posey.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Culp.
Yes.
I now move to close the public hearing for zoning case 439-19 and find that all of the above standards were met by the evidence presented in the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Barry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
At this time, I make a motion we adopt resolution 96-2025, a resolution to adopt a zoning map amendment to PD5 Mixed-Use Planned Unit Development District under zoning case 439-19 for corner retail plan development. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees adopts the zoning map amendment under zoning case 439-19 and upholds the zoning commission recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Berry.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Department head comments. Chief Nielsen.
Yes, thank you, Board. I just want to take a moment to speak about our sergeant staff briefly. We ran our second sergeant process of the year recently. Justin Knight came out on top of that. He will start Wednesday of this week. He'll be on midnight shift, so he'll be sleeping during the day for a few months, but glad to have him start in this new role. We went through that process because we just had a nice little send-off last week for Sergeant Paul Niehaus. He 28 years on the job, 25 years with the township, 20 of those as a sergeant. So he did a great job for us. Sorry to see him go, but glad to see him move on to his next phase of life. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Nielsen. Mr. Schweikert.
Yeah, good evening, Board. I've got two brief comments. The first one is leaf season began today, so feel free to check out daily updates on the website, let you know where our staff is around the township. The second brief comment is I've noticed the increased police presence in our school zones during morning and afternoon hours, and I want to recognize Chief Nielsen for his leadership in making this happen. This proactive approach is making a real difference in keeping our community and children safer, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schweikert. Mr. Carlson.
Just briefly, Board, wanted to call attention to some of the major transactions that have occurred in Miami Township in the recent weeks. Hull Property Group recently acquired the Dayton Mall property, and Caden Companies acquired the Mad River Station directly across from the mall. It's very timely that these new groups are coming into the township. We are just kicking off our Miami Crossing District Master Plan with our consultant Planning Next. Both of these groups have met with us, met with our staff, and are very willing to join into this planning effort and work together with us to try to determine what the future of our sort of central business district look like. So again, very timely, motivated property acquisitions. I think we're building a lot of good momentum. Pretty excited to commence this planning process and look forward to keeping the board updated as we move through it.
That's some exciting news. Thank you. Ms. Bogner, anything for us today? Mr. McCord.
I don't have anything further.
Administrator Snyder.
Good evening again, Board. Just wanted to briefly mention again the passing of former trustee Berman Lair. Recently, Trustee Lair was a trustee for Miami Township from 1978 to 1997. He passed away at the age of 102. Berman was also a World War II veteran, and I know had attended our Veterans Breakfast a number of times over the years, so we certainly wanted to recognize his service over the years to Miami Township. Speaking of the Veterans Breakfast, we do want to note that registration for that does end this Wednesday, the 5th, and that breakfast will be held on November 12th. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Board comments. Mr. Culp.
I have none.
Mr. Berry.
I'd like to thank Mr. Morris for coming tonight. Good to see you, sir. Welcome back to the township. That's all I have, sir.
There's a lot of good news today and a little mixed news, and I want to address that. You may have noticed the fiscal officer is not present, and in the discussion of Resolution 97-2025, we appointed a new deputy fiscal officer as a result of Bob Matthews' suspension in the removal case pending in Montgomery County, Ohio. Mr. Matthews was suspended in his role as fiscal officer by Judge Jonathan Hine in Montgomery County Common Pleas Court as part of an action filed by the Ohio Attorney General relating to Mr. Matthews' attempts to purchase gold coins and his actions taken after those efforts were thwarted. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we look forward to working with the new Deputy Fiscal Officer and hope the action to remove Mr. Matthews from his office permanently reaches a quick and appropriate resolution. With that, we have one item left on the agenda as a work session to discuss the 2026 refuse contract. I believe that will be conducted in the conference room. Doing that out here? All right, let's do it out here so we don't have to go anywhere. Mr. Schweikert.
All right. Good evening again, Board. The refuse contract, we sent to the elected officials last week for a chance to review. The one notable item for the contract from our law director was damages in the event of a breach of contract, and I could let Mr. Snyder fulfill you a little bit more, but this contract really just aligns with the current contract that we have, and we do have several haulers that are interested in bidding for this service. So, Mr. Snyder, do you want to?
Yes, so we have, one of the items that's come up over the years was essentially, we're in this contract. Obviously, it's not conducive to us to just get rid of the contract at any point because of a single issue, but we did want to find some ways to strengthen the contract so that we had a little bit more teeth if we did have issues come up with whoever is the hauler. So we did discuss that with our law director, and they have included within the contract a fee structure, essentially fines, if there is a violation of the contract. So, and those would be stepped up depending on how many times that breach would occur. So that would give us a little bit more pull with the contractors to enforce issues that come up, which generally aren't often, but over the years we've had times where there have been some issues with the way that the service has been conducted. So beyond that, again, it would be the potential for multi-day pickup throughout the township. Your individual neighborhood would be picked up on the same day each week, and it would be weekly trash collection and weekly recycling collection. So, and it, again, it's a 3-year contract with proposal for 2 option years.
My only comment and concern is that in the event we end up with a new supplier, that the transition be managed a little more effectively than the last time. To whatever extent that can be addressed in the contract, that would be helpful.
Well, and part of that is being managed in the sense that the last contract was set up as a 3.5-year contract, so that it would give us this period now to do this transition, one, in the summer rather than in the winter, if that were to occur, because that was problematic, just given working around snow and other issues with weather. And then, again, this is why we're starting this process now, so we potentially would be able to give 6 months to any hauler that might be able to, would need to organize a transition. So,
Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Mr. Schweikert, anything else?
I don't have anything else.
With that, I conclude the work session and adjourn the meeting at 6:32 p.m. Thank you.